Hello, welcome to Two Men Out. We've escaped the blackboard in the shed and we're here at, where is it again? What's the name of this place? It's that cricket ground in London, isn't it? No, it's gone. Anyway, all is in readiness for England v Pakistan, and of course the big talk has surrounded a player who many thought would never and should never grace the Test match arena again after what he did last time he played on this ground in a Test match. But Gary Balance is back. I know it splits opinion, but I think now we really should just give the guy a chance and see how it goes. Also on the Pakistan side, Mohammad Amir is making his Test match comeback as well, at the same venue where 6 years ago he deposited himself rather stupidly on the cricketing and legal naughty step. At his best, of course, as he was here in 2010, he can make the ball talk, as indeed can all bowlers. It's really more about what you make the ball say. I, for example, can make the ball talk. Unfortunately, what it says is, please violate me. Whereas Mohammad Amir, well, he could make the ball talk in a kind of Brando in the Godfather type style. So it'll be fascinating to see how he shapes up after so long out of the Test match game. Being right here on the scene, we are getting an early steer on team news, and from having seen the teams warming up on the nursery ground over there, I can tell you it does look very much like Alistair Cook will be one of the England batsmen. That is basically the only pillar of stability left in this nation. Troubling times. CC have had a fun meeting. They've announced plans to restrict the size of bats, to cut down on the slog power, the whackitude, the clumptiousness of cricket bats. Bowlers, as a result, quite literally up in arms. A spokesman for the International Federation of Potential Wicket Takers said this is completely unfair. Edges and miss-hits that previously would have flown as far as fielders are now going to drop agonisingly short. We need some balance in the game.
So, Doc, Lords, or as I like to think of it, the place where I took match figures of 10 for 20 in 1878 against the MCC in a day, including bowling you out for naught.
Naught? No, I don't remember those naught runs. Hard to amongst the 12,373 runs I scored here in first-class cricket. Not to mention the 202 catches I took, and the 640 wickets. And what do I get named after me? Some bloody gates.
So, what do you think should be named after you?
Well, Frederick, I would say maybe a stand, and then another stand, and then the other stand, and then maybe that pavilion and that new press box thing they've got. How about that for starters?
Press box, or as I like to think of it, the hack shack. Yeah, why not? And what about the food vans? They could be named after you too as well, Doc, because of your, services to...
I think you've made your point, Frederick. Yes, I liked a sausage. I do not apologise for that. Go and get me a sausage.
You're the boss.
Andrew?
Yes.
Mohammad Amir is back. He's been away. There are some people saying he cheated, he should never come back. He didn't cheat, of course. He committed a form of sporting fraud, or actual fraud perhaps, or treason, or I'm not exactly sure what the charges were in the end, but he did plead guilty to them after originally not pleading guilty. But he's been out of the game so long that Game of Thrones wasn't even a TV show. People weren't boring you about Game of Thrones when Muhammad Ali was last playing Test cricket. That's how long ago it was.
Puts everything in perspective, Jared. I mean, that is how time is defined in this hectic modern age.
Exactly. Australia was about 9 prime ministers back, if you need a political spectre on that. So essentially, there are two camps here. There are people who think Mohammad Amir should leave, and there are people that think Mohammad Amir should remain.
Yeah. And one of the camps is in that dressing room. The other one's in that dressing room.
I personally think he's done his time, and I think he'll be watched probably more closely than any sportsman ever in the history of mankind. He didn't say stupid things like Salman Butt did about cricket being like wrestling. He took his time out of the game. He's back, and he deserves another go. But what do you think, Andy?
I'm right with you, Jared. I'm delighted to see. I mean, it's a lot. 5 years is a long time out of
Game of Thrones.
Any sportsman's career. Not everyone's happy about it, though. I mean, Steve Harmison was one of the several England players saying that he thinks Amir should never have played it. And Harmison seems to think this, in terms of cricket, is probably the thing that has been most way out of line in this sport since the first ball of the 2006-2007 Ashes. So, but I'm delighted to see him back. I hope he does. I mean, it was those 3 ball wickets he took against Somerset. I just saw on a little YouTube.
Everyone saw them.
Oh, it was glorious.
He basically bowled one white ball or one red ball spell in whites, and he broke the internet.
The ball that got Trescothick out was an outswinger so perfect. it would have been extremely rude not to edge it. It would have been a disgrace, an artistic disgrace not to edge that
And
ball.
the Traeger one, what was great about that is everyone talks about it being a great Yorker. It's kind of a half volley, but still unplayable. And when you can bowl unplayable half volleys, you deserve to spend 5 years out of the game, working on your life, and then come back and play cricket again. Probably. Unless you disagree, and then I don't care.
So, Doc, the administrators have been busy. There's going to be more day-night tests.
Well, if over 8s get any slower, they can just bring them breakfast at 7 a.m. and roll on through.
There's going to be a new Mankad rule, so non-striking batsmen have to stay in their crease.
Well, I'm afraid this was inevitable after Brexit. Freedom of movement is a thing of the past.
They're going to restrict bat sizes.
Well, it wouldn't have bothered me. I mostly scored runs off my aura, not my bat.
There's the stated goal of making cricket the world's favourite sport.
Been there, done it. Matter of time before the world comes back to its senses. Football is an affectation.
Well, it looks like cricket is trying to learn from football, Doc.
What, you mean with the endemic time wasting?
No, I wasn't exactly thinking of that.
Oh, so you must mean with Brazil not being much of a factor in major tournaments anymore.
Not that either, Doc. I was thinking more of introducing promotion and relegation to Test cricket. Are you in favour?
Well, I was. 130 years ago, when it would have been England in Division 1 and Australia in Division 2. I'd have left it at that, for good. Opportunity missed in hindsight.
This is an incredible series, actually, because the last one was so pathetic. This one already feels better and it hasn't started yet. We've got Amir versus the media, Amir versus Lords, Amir versus the crowd, Amir versus Cook, and Yasir Shah versus the world.
Those are all very exciting matchups.
So, what are you looking forward to other than those 4 incredible matchups?
Mostly that. Yasir Shah. I mean, leg spinners don't always do brilliantly in this country, but it's very exciting to see a guy as good as he's been in recent years. It's almost the perfect identikit Pakistan bowling attack. It's got swing, pace, wrist spin. I mean, this is what
controversy.
That's not too much controversy. I mean, that's what I want from this series. I want great cricket. It would be quite nice if this series goes off without there being any major tabloid newspaper stings exposing corruption scandals, teams flouncing off the pitch, refusing to play after being accused of ball tampering, massive umpiring controversies.
Mike Gatting.
The works. But let's just hope that cricket wins. I don't mind who wins within the cricket, but as you said, that summer so far has not been wildly spectacular from a cricketing point of view, and England just recently absolutely harumphed Sri Lanka in an extremely one-sided one-day series. I think beating the current Sri Lankan team in a one-day series, that's an achievement sort of alongside beating David Cameron in a who's moved house unexpectedly least often this week competition. It's I guess you've got to still win it, but you shouldn't lose.
Good gosh, they put me in a corner. Nobody puts Greasy in a corner.
I think it's disgusting that the ICC and the MCC are coming down on bats, where at no stage have they come down on batsmen's biceps. If you want to have a look back in history, Don Bradman had a tiny little chicken wing arm, whereas Corey Anderson has a weapon of mass destruction. This is what is ruining the game, and it's why, think people liked cricket more in the old days or something. I haven't quite thought this through, which is a bit like the MCC and the ICC. Andy, big bats?
I mean, my main concern is over 8s, all these balls being smacked into the crowd. They do slow the game down. You want to go back to the 1950s when they bowled 20 overs an hour just by hitting the ball straight back to the bowler, every single ball. But I'd like to see a scheme whereby good bats are a reward for good batting, because there's a lot of pretty unsightly batsmen in modern cricket. And I think maybe we'll have some kind of artistic impression to reward the stylish player. So if you play a particularly nice cover drive, then you get an extra centimetre depth on your bat, so your ball goes further. That seems fair. Let's get some art back into the game.
So for once, they actually took us out. They took us to Lords, the real Lords, and then the camera didn't work. So we're back here in the past.
Where we belong, as a nation. Sorry, I've been watching too much referendum coverage. My mistake. As you were.
Andy, I think you'll agree that a lot of this just comes down to how Pakistan deal with the slope at Lords.
Well, of course, it's a major factor here, and a lot of people who aren't used to it find it really hard to adjust their game to this quite pronounced slope here at this famous ground.
Go away, Andy.